Hello, flute players. So today we're going to put together our flute all the way and make sure we're holding it in a position so that we can start playing some notes. So we're going to make sure we open our case the correct way. Remember, the label is in the front. I'm about to sneeze. Awesome. When you're looking at the inside of the case, you see your pieces. I'd like for you to get the head joint out, the foot joint. This is the foot joint, the shorter piece, and then the main body out. You can set the case to the side. When putting your flute together, we want to make sure that our foot joint goes on the end that is not the part with this thing at the top. Okay, so the foot joint goes to this tenon. This is called a tenon. Okay, so we're going to pick up our foot joint. There are two sides to it. The way that you'll know if you're doing it correctly is the foot joint has these buttons here. And when you stick them on, they'll connect to make it look like that. Okay. And on Yamaha flutes, not all flutes are like this, but on Yamaha flutes, you'll see, I'm on camera, focus in. See those two little arrows? Right there where my ring finger is. That is going to be an indicator for you. Okay. And then the other part that you're going to put on is going to be the head joint. Okay. And we are going to look down the center of the flute like so. The buttons make a straight line. The tone hole is going to find that straight line. I will look down the center of my flute, looking for a straight line between the tone hole and the lines, the buttons on the flute. So tone hole, straight line here. Okay. You also want to make sure that your foot joint rod, that's this thing here, lines up with the rows of buttons as well. So when it's all said and done, you've got a straight line. From here, sorry about that, from here all the way straight down and connecting that straight line with the rod. So an imaginary straight line. All right, that's important. We want to make sure it's set up correctly. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to try to hold this thing. So when you go to hold, I like to show people that it's on a hinge system, and there's really only a couple pressure points on your hand where this is going to be resting. So you're going to use, I'm going to try to do it backwards here for you. Your left hand is going to support the flute right here next to this button. Zoom in a little bit. Left hand is going to support it like that, right on that knuckle, right there in your hand. Okay. And then your right hand is going to support the flute from the thumb right about here. You don't want to be totally angled in so that it's right along the crease of your nail bed. Not exactly there, just right before it. Okay. Hopefully you can see that now. Your thumb in your left hand is going to hang out here next to these two buttons. Okay. Now, with that said, if you put it in the place where I have it, your fingers are kind of just going to fall naturally. But to be super clear, let's work on just the right hand for a second. Okay, so steady the flute with your left hand, and let's work right hand for a second. So see how the foot joint comes on right here? Well, we're going to put our ring finger right on this button next to where the foot joint connects. Ring, middle, index. Pinky will rest primarily on that skinny button right there. You can bring it over some to do other notes, but those don't happen for a while in band. Primarily, it's going to hang out right there. So there's your right hand. Pause the video if you need to, and make sure that looks that way. Okay. And again, if you are holding the flute from a perspective that you're looking at, it would look like this. Okay, good. Left hand, we're going to, again, rest on this part of your hand right here. We're going to put our thumb right up against these two keys, primarily this one. This is a trill key. This is the one you actually want to be pushing most of the time. And then we're going to find every other key. So starting here, skip this one. Put your index finger here. Skip this one. Put your middle finger there. And then your last possible note before you get to this special wiggly key here. This is called the A flat key. Before we get to that note, you're just going to put two together at the same time. So skip it, put it down. Skip this one, put it down, and then drop your ring finger right before you get to the A flat key. Okay? And that is from your perspective. If you do it correctly, your fingers will look like this. Pause the video when you need to double check. Okay. And then to play your first note, we're going to make sure that that head joint's ready. We're going to make that noise you made on your head joint last week. Come up to the face. Feel free to kiss and roll. And with no buttons pushed, we're going to play all open. My microphone overdrove. You'll notice it's pretty hard to hold the flute while you're playing the note. In fact, for me, I feel like it's falling out of my hands a little bit. It's much easier to just play the first note. So let me teach you the first one we're going to learn on Thursday for our first song called Higher Ground. We're going to play left hand, 2, 3. Okay, so we number our fingers 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in band. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. This is the pinky, this is the pinky. Okay, so we're going to play 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and pinky. Okay, this dude, this rascal here, this first finger, don't push him down. Just leave him hanging out. Okay, he's going to be all by himself, and that's okay. He'll live. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, pinky. And not to forget our almost all the time button, this flat long piece, the thumb. When you push all those buttons down and play again, it should be a lot easier to steady the flute. So you just learned how to put it together. You learned how to play an E flat. That is what that note is called, by the way. You learned where to put your fingers. Now, one quick note about that whole finger thing. Your fingers are always going to primarily hang out in these spots. They're never going to be anywhere else. So sometimes people take like little stickers, you know, like the kinds that you would get in elementary school if you did a good job, like a star. Some people put little stickers on their flute keys to help them remember where to put their fingers. I don't love that, but you can do it if you think it's going to help you. Just make sure you take the stickers off after like a week when you're used to doing it. Okay? Promise? So fingers are going to primarily stay there. We're never going to do like this with your index finger. It's never going to go over there. And subsequently, you're never going to take this finger here and try to touch this one. Okay? So just remember all those things. When you go to disassemble the flute at the end of your day, make sure that you are careful not to grab and crush down any of these keys. These are all very sensitive rods and they're equally balanced. That all can be super straight and be the same height all the way across. That is difficult to do and costs hundreds of dollars to fix if you ever were to like jam them all up. So you don't want to do that. So the way that we protect our flute from when we take it apart is grab it in a way where you're not going to bend those keys. We know these guys are supposed to go down. So I like to put my thumb there and turn. Ta-da! I didn't bend the keys. I didn't break my flute. Set this into your case the way that it fits into the case. Hopefully you remember how that goes. If you don't, let me know and I'll get in touch with you and we'll help you. This one's a lot easier. Head joint, hand, grab. Careful here. Okay. At no point did I put my hand on top of this rod. I held it from here the whole time. Okay. And now our flute is disassembled and we can move on with our lives. Now, y'all will need to practice some more, but I am done for the night. So hope that helped. I look forward to seeing your video of you playing that note. Okay. Thanks.